everyone and welcome back. If this is your first time, I hope you'll stay. Espero que te quedes. So today is all about the complicated verb haber. Is it complicated? I think it's complicated because there's so many things you can and can't do with it. So first of all, I was going over a paper last week, and so I found 3 mistakes that were just occurred because we don't understand how to use haber. So this is why I want to do this class today. You may or may not have seen it in lower school or even in upper school. If you have and you know it all, watch it anyway, you might learn something. Right, okay, so what do we know about the verb haber? We know that it's an auxiliary verb, okay? Es un verbo auxiliar. What does that actually mean? Well, it means that it's a helping verb, okay? It helps us to identify the tense we're talking in. It helps us to identify the mood or the voice, okay? So I'll give you an example. Think. Okay, the verb have. In the present perfect, we would say, I haven't tidied my room yet. I haven't, have plus the past perfect, haven't tidied. I haven't gone, or I've gone. I have eaten. Or in the past perfect, had thought, had visited. Okay, so it helps you to identify which tense we're talking about. Okay, or is, the verb to be is also one of our main auxiliary verbs. So have, to do, and to be. We use to be, for example, to talk in a passive voice. For example, you conjugate it is or was, you can conjugate it in present or in the past. The bridge was built. So was built in 1992. So it helps you to tell the reader that it was built in the past and it's in the passive voice. Okay? Or it is said. Yeah, it is said. Gets commonly said. It is said as well. So yeah, do you understand what I mean? I hope you understand what I mean, because sometimes I tend to overcomplicate things. Okay, yeah, so auxiliary verbs, they help you to support the second verb by explaining the tense you're talking about or the mood. Right, so the mistakes that were made in this paper that I read had to do with the student putting the verb haber in the plural when you really can't do that because it's an impersonal verb. Okay, so by impersonal I mean that it doesn't require a subject as such. Okay, so you take a normal verb like eat. Who eats? I eat. You eat. So that's a personal verb. Or go. It's a personal verb. You can conjugate it I, you, he or she. Okay, but it's not. It doesn't refrain. It doesn't just mean that it's a thing or a concept. Okay, so right, let's look at it. Look at the ones I've got. So you're going to see these sort of words being thrown around. Unipersonal, impersonales means there's no subject, as I just said. Okay, it's used only in the third person. So the mistake I read was hubieron muchos niños. Okay, there were many people, and I know we've been drumming it into your head. You have to make sure that numbers match, and you have to put the es on the end if the verb comes before is plural, but not in the case of the verb haber. So instead of hubieron muchos niños, you would actually only put hubo, okay, in singular. So hubo would be what you would put in singular, hubo, okay, hubo. Okay, habían quejas. You wouldn't say that either because habían is third person plural. You would not put that because again it's plural. han habido algunos famosos. You wouldn't say that. You would use the verb hubo, because hubo is a third person and you would only use it to express even though the noun is plural. So even though the noun is plural, you still just use hubo. And I have to admit, I used to make this mistake all the time. Okay, so instead of saying hubieron dos niños guapos, you would say just hubo. Okay, there was. Okay, so yeah, that's what you use. Okay, you have to, oh, some camion, it's a truck, it's so noisy out here. Okay, right, so moving on. So this refers to, we use this to talk about weather conditions or things to do with the atmosphere, to do with the weather, I would say. Okay, so for example, you would have nevar. Every single time I'm recording, a massive truck comes out there and start doing that. Okay, right. I hope you can still hear. Siempre nieva aquí. So the verb nevar, which is to snow, it always snows here. Okay? I don't snow. You don't snow. It snows. It's something that happens. It snows. Okay? So nunca anochece. Anochece is from anochecer, which is to get dark. Okay? Or when night draws in. Okay? To become dark. Okay? So when night comes. Okay? Anochecer, to get dark. Yeah, we don't actually say to, yeah, when night comes. Nights come down, nights come, night has arrived. Okay, or granizar, granizó ayer, which would actually be, it hailed yesterday. There are hailstones, it hailed yesterday. Okay, so if you see, these words are associated to weather. It's all related to weather. So, the verb tronar, which is to thunder, anochecer, which is to get dark, llover, which is to rain, nevar, to snow, and granizar, which is to hail. We use these only in the third person singular. So you would never say this in plural, ever. Okay? Always in the singular. So these are unipersonales. Okay? So we use only in third person singular. Okay? So that's the use of these verbs. Okay? Right. Verbos impersonales con se. I know I started that we're only going to use haber, but I might as well explain all of these to you because it's the same concept. Okay? Verbos impersonales con se. Okay? When you don't care about or we don't know who the subject of the action is, we will use se. And these are impersonal. Much to do with what I was saying about the verb haber. Okay? Where you use it in the third person only. So, we use se to identify impersonal verbs. Not always, though, because you must remember the reflexive, that the reflexive, you do have se. And in other verbs as well, we do use se to tell us about the subject. Okay, so not always, just most of the times. So, you would mostly see this in shops. Se vende. Se vende means that it's sold. Se vende hielo, okay? Ice is sold here. I'm not saying I sell ice. I'm not saying we sell ice. Just saying it's sold here. Even though we might translate it to we sell ice here. Okay? Or se cree. You would have seen this a lot on your GCSE papers. Se cree. It is believed. Se cree. Okay? Or se dice. It is said. Se dice que por aquí hay fantasmas. They say that there are ghosts here. Okay, right. Se cuenta. It is told. Se cuenta que el rey está loco. Okay? It's told that the king is crazy. Right. And also se olvida. Se olvida los hechos reales de la guerra. Okay? So even though it's singular, you can go on to talk about the nouns in plural. It doesn't matter. Okay? But these are impersonal verbs with se. Right. Okay, moving on. Impersonalidad gramatical. So, these ones, as I said, they behave the same way as the verb haber. They behave the same way, okay? So, haber, ser, and estar, okay? You would have seen I a lot of times, and some people don't actually know that I come from the verb haber. And I mean, if you don't get told and you've just begun studying Spanish, how do you know? You just don't know. So, you wouldn't put I, you wouldn't say hay, would you? It's just I in singular, okay? Hay muchos árboles. Okay, there are. So whether it's, I mean, we would translate I to there is or to there are in English, which is, you can see the clear difference between singular and plural. There is and there are. Whereas in Spanish it's actually the same all the time, I. Okay, hay muchos árboles. There are lots of trees. Okay, había muchos camiones, and even though muchos camiones, which are many trucks, are plural, you wouldn't say habían. It would still be había in singular. Había. Okay? Third person still. Right. Hubo 5 accidentes. I've forgotten the S off of that one. Accidentes. There were 5 accidents. You would think, as this student did, hubieron 5 accidentes, you would conjugate it to make sure that they're both plural. That the verb is plural and the noun is plural. But not in this case. And that is why I wanted to do this lesson, so you'd understand that these are impersonal verbs, and haber works like this. Okay? So, hubo 5 accidentes. We're talking in the past, there were 5 accidents. There were is plural, but it stays as a third person singular. Right. Okay. This one you would have seen a lot. The verb, the conjugation hace, when you're talking about the weather again. Like today, hace sol. Okay? It's sunny. Okay? I'm not sunny. You're not sunny. It's sunny. It's just, it's sunny. So that it's sunny refers to the third person, it being sunny. Okay? The weather is that. Sunny. Right. Okay. As I put here, ser as well. So the example, es tarde, it's late. Okay? Estar, estaba nevando. Again, related to the weather. Okay. This is one I came across, and I thought I'd put this on the list. Verbos terciopersonales. Terciopersonales translates to third person verbs. So, refers, always refers to events and not people. Okay, you might, so at times it might have a subject and it's conjugated in third person singular or plural. So, I'll give you examples. Happened, it happened. Sucedió el año pasado. Okay, so it happened last year. It happened. I didn't happen. You didn't happen. We didn't happen. It happened. Third person singular. Okay, or plural. Puede ser que sea una mentira. It might be a lie. It might be. I might not be. It might be. Okay. Some third person verbs can be used as personal verbs. So, puede, even though it's a third person verb, you can also conjugate it. As I said, it's not always, the golden rule doesn't always apply. You know, there is an exception to every single rule. So, you can, of course, you can say, yo puedo, tú puedes, él o ella puede, nosotros podemos. We can say that, absolutely. But we still use that as both a third person verb and a personal verb. Okay, it's just learning these little differences that will help us in our writing. Okay, other verbs that you can use that are third person verbs, which you would have seen and are very relevant to GCSE and A level. Concernir, which is concern, and urgir, which is to urge. Okay, so concierne a todos. Okay, it concerns everyone. Concierne a todos. It concerns everyone. Or urge. Urge encontrar una solución. Okay, it's urgent. It's urgent. You find a solution. Okay. So yeah, this is what I wanted to do. I really wanted to go over the verb haber with you and talk a little bit about unipersonal personal verbs, impersonal verbs, and explain to you how it works. I really hope I didn't go on too much and that I didn't confuse you further. If there's something you did not understand and that I didn't cover enough, please let me know, and I will try to do that for the next video or the following. But yeah, do let me know so I can get that done for you. And I hope we don't keep making these mistakes. Instead of hubieron muchos coches, hubo. Okay? Hubieron tres accidentes, hubo tres accidentes. Okay? So we have to remember that some verbs are impersonal and it refers to a thing rather than people or a concept. Okay? And so that is it for today. I hope you will have walked away with something new, and until next time, adios.